Welcome back to WTF Sports. It's time for our season recaps for all the teams because, as you may know, we did predictions for every team prior to the season, and now it's time to do our postseason reaction. It's gonna be ugly. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, and so obviously we're starting in the order that we did them. So we're going to open with the NFC North and then probably Northeast, Southwest, and then the AFC, and so on. And the NFC North, 4 teams. And to say we predicted poorly would be a vast an understatement. We did so bad. But we're going to start with the Bears, right? The Bears. I'll let Mason get this since he's
We can't. Okay, you got to take into account how before the season started, the hype around the Bears, how good they would have been, or they should have been, and maybe we rode that a little bit, just a tiny little bit, and not only that, but I just want to mention too, I am a Bears fan. Okay, so and just I want everybody to look at me and say that they expected the 4-2 Bears to go on a 10-game losing streak. You can't. So
yeah.
Here we go. Let's hop right into it.
So we predicted them to go 12-5.
All right. There's a reason behind that. All right.
We'll get into that right now, which is where we're going to show you the actual games that we had them winning and losing. And we ended up winning a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the Titans, they should have won that. They did. They shouldn't have won, honestly, but they did. We got the Colts wrong, which is a game that they should have won. I don't know how they lost to the Colts, but beat the Rams.
Yeah.
Make it make sense, but whatever. Panthers, Jags, and then you go into the bye week, they're 4-2, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, this is looking good.
And we were like, numbers-wise, our prediction was right then.
Yeah.
And then they go to the Commanders.
Hail Mary.
The excellence of the Bears coaching. And then from that point, just go to the next thing, bro.
Yep.
Just go to the next.
Whole lot of red.
So from that point on was probably the saddest stretch of Bears football in the history of watching the Bears. I mean, Cardinals, we got blown out. Pats, we lost 19-3. What a snoozer. Packers, we got a game-winning field goal blocked. Vikings, we go into overtime and we lose in overtime because we take a 20-yard sack on third down. No, second down, and then it just killed it. But Lions, we decide not to call a timeout, which gets our head coach fired. 49ers blow us out because Thomas Brown is not ready to be a head coach. Vikings blow us out because, once again, Thomas Brown is not ready to be a head coach. Lions blow us out again.
Wait, can I get the next game? Can I get the next one?
Yeah.
This game was horrible. As a Seahawks fan, we paid $240 a ticket to go watch this game. And there's a video on it. There's a video. Hey. We made a video on it. Go watch it. Mason got engaged. It's awesome.
Hey, it's worth it. It's was worth every
good
penny
video.
I spent.
It was great.
And it was my first Bears game, and they scored 3 points.
Mm-hmm. My first Seahawks game, and they scored 6. So we're living it up.
So basically, both of those teams were crap. So that was a toss-up. Whatever, it happened. And the Packers game.
Crazy.
Staple of our season.
Insane.
Ended in an 11-game losing streak.
Only NFC North team to win a game this in 2025.
No.
To have a 100% win ratio in 2025.
Yes. There you go. See, the Bears are undefeated in 2025.
Exactly.
So get the heck out of here.
Yep. And then moving on, rookie grades. Bears drafted honestly really well.
Now here's what I have to say. Caleb Williams could have been higher, but we did not have the right offensive coordinator. Yeah. Shane Waldron was an absolute joke.
Mm-hmm.
Roma Dunze,
very high.
Could have been better, but we had Keenan Allen, and they seemed to be favored in our offense, which made no sense to me. But whatever, you know. And then Karan Abgaji was our third-round pick, and if you know Ryan Poles, he's had a lot of struggles with third-round picks, all right? Like, Bayless Jones. special teams menace, by the way.
Yeah.
No.
Menace
Yeah,
to the
that was a
Bears.
third round pick, believe it or not. Yeah, he just cannot. I don't know what about third round picks. He has not hit on one yet. Obviously, it was Karan Abagaji's rookie year, and he was coming off an injury, but it did not look good. Hopefully, he improves, but I don't know. It's gonna be rough. Corey Taylor,
Good.
arguably one of the best punters in the league.
He's-
Probably will become one of the best punters in the league if
Yeah.
you don't consider him one already. And Austin Booker was our 5th round pick, and he was like
Say for a
he
fifth
was a
rounder is
rotation
good.
player. Yeah, he was a rotation player, and he got some production, not too much, but like enough.
He could
So-
grow, especially with Dennis Allen, like good defensive
Dennis
coordinator.
Allen,
It could.
I think is gonna make a big difference for the Bears defense. I mean, we're gonna cop into stuff here in a second, so I'll just leave that for that.
Yeah. So speaking of things that look good or are going to make a difference, right? The defense, and there's a lot of talent. This team is stacked with talent. It's just they couldn't figure it out.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
It's
So
insane.
so the problem is right. Matt Eberflus, not only was he bad at his job, he could not hire people that were good at theirs. All right. So Luke Getsy and Shane Waldron were his 2 offensive coordinators that he hired,
Both
and
dog
got
crap.
and then on defense, like for like a maybe 12 game stretch, I think.
One of the best. One of the best in the league. The best in the league.
And then they decided that and then Matt Eberflus decided, we're not going to switch anything up. We're going to stay sitting back in cover 2. We're not going to generate pressure. And we saw the consequences of that.
Mhm.
So,
There's plenty of talent.
AKA 400 yards, 400 total yards to Jane Daniels in a game where they only scored 15 points.
Mm-hmm. It's tragic.
All right. It is tragic.
Yeah.
Or they scored 18.
Yeah, they won. That's all that matters. Caleb Williams. A lot of people call him a bust. Like,
You can say what you want,
he looks good.
right? But I 3,600 yards.
He had a better.
He had 100 less yards than Bo Nix or 150 less yards than Bo Nix and Jane Daniels.
And
like,
if you look at total yards and like all the stats that aren't like necessarily specified, he had a better season than Stroud did last year.
Yeah.
On par or better. And Stroud had he did actually had an insane season last year, but it was like a generational season last year. And Caleb put up the same thing. I mean, Jay Daniels, I don't know what he did, but Caleb Williams, he looks great.
I honestly think that he will thrive under this Ben Johnson
Mm-hmm.
offense. Now, of course, I'm a Bears fan riding high of Ben Johnson right now, but I am beyond excited for this guy. I watched his press conference. I could not be more impressed. Just he knows all the right things to say. Like, he's sitting there. He's basically like, yeah, this offense is not going to be the same as Detroit because Caleb Williams is not Jared Goff. DJ Moore is not Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what you need in a guy. Like if you look at the Bears' previous offensive guys, right? Matt Nagy, he dropped Andy Reid's offensive playbook on Mitch Trubisky, and it didn't work. Mitch Trubisky gets traded away. Justin Fields comes. Justin Fields doesn't succeed, and Matt Nagy gets fired. Matt Eberflus comes in, hires Luke Getsy. Luke Getsy puts down his playbook on Justin Fields. Doesn't really work out. Luke Getsy gets fired. Matt Eberflus hires Shane Waldron. He comes over here, plops down his playbook on Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams struggles because you put a veteran QB type playbook on a rookie QB, which is just ridiculous. So I'm looking forward to what Ben Johnson does with this offense, but I'm also looking forward to what our new defensive coordinator Dennis Allen does with our defense too, which is a major improvement.
Yeah,
it should help with our defensive talent because he's a big secondary guy. He runs like a very exotic secondary. I'm excited.
Yeah, they went out and hired 2 head coaches. Dennis Allen has head coaching experience and it wasn't great, but he still was good on defense. and they got Ben Johnson, who's obviously an elite offensive guy.
You know, like a couple years ago, Brody, he was ranked as the #1 defensive coordinator.
I think the Saints also just had nobody at all.
They didn't have anybody.
Yeah, and now he has quite a good defense.
You know what's also insane? Dennis Allen's defense was known for shutting down Tom Brady.
Look at that.
I don't know if you remember it a couple years ago, but the Saints swept Tom Brady and the Bucs in a season where the Saints weren't good at all, and they had Jameis Winston as their starter. And
hey, Jameis Winston's the GOAT, though. But we're gonna move on to what doesn't look good. Sorry to just completely interrupt that, but
you good?
We gotta move. 10 minutes in. What went wrong this season? Quarterback inconsistency. It's a rookie, so you kind of can't fully, like, it's not like Jared Goff, who's like, if that were inconsistent, that'd be an issue. Caleb Williams' inconsistency comes from being new, but but at the end of the day, it is an issue that needs to be addressed. So, like, I mean, I think
part of that too is, like, you know, he was sort of put through the motions too quickly. I feel like, like I said, Shane Waldron's offense was just too complicated. Like,
he'd been using it with Geno,
and it was just like, I mean, like, if Geno was a seasoned veteran, like, he's been in the league for who knows
ever.
Right? So, but it's just like, you can't just drop that in on a rookie quarterback, and of course there's going to be inconsistency if he's just, you know, you put everything in his hands first thing. But I do think that that's something Ben Johnson could fix, but that remains to be seen. So another thing that definitely went wrong, there was no responsible and accountable coaching. I mean, if you really look at the Bears' Matt Eberflus press conferences, it was always on the players. It's never on the coach. Like, in the Hail Mary situation, no, Matt Eberflus didn't need to call a timeout because everybody was set. No. Tyreek Stevenson was heckling fans mid-play. Didn't even realize the play had been snapped. Like, definitely needed a timeout there. I don't know what he was thinking. And to go back and double down on it just doesn't, you know, there's no accountability. There was no accountability. So that's what I'm looking forward in this new coaching staff. Something that they need to get right. And their defense is way too stale. Like, they gotta get more aggressive. I mean, just to look back and to say that there was not a single double-digit sack player on the Bears is ridiculous, and it's sad. I feel like we, unfortunately, as Bears fans, deserve, or fortunately, I don't know what word I'm looking for there. We deserve more sacks coming. Like, it's a Bears defense, right? You need to have aggression, and it just wasn't there, especially with the play calling. So,
all right.
Anyways, Brody was having technical difficulties, so we're gonna just go on to the next thing.
Yep. So now we're on to the Lions, a team that was phenomenal looking going throughout the entire year, and then into the playoffs. Yeah, they just kind of fell apart. It was
we'll get into that later.
Yeah. So our prediction, we predicted them doing decent, but not as good as they did. Yeah. Right? 11-6, we actually had that, I think, as them almost potentially missing the playoffs, because we had like 6-11 win teams and like 8 or 9, 11 or higher win teams in the NFC, which was not correct, but it kind of was. A lot of high win teams. Anyways, we're gonna move on. Predictions wise, we predicted they lost to the Seahawks, which I pushed really hard for that one, if we're being honest, but it was a good game. Seahawks Lions every year is a good game when they play. Texans, I think we got right. No? Okay, they beat the Texans. Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. They lost to the Bucks, which was a surprising loss, to be honest. It was close, 16-20, I think, 16-22 maybe. But and then obviously those 4 games we got all of those wrong except for the Bills.
Yeah.
The Bills game was phenomenal though. Yeah, this was a shootout. Offensively, defense just didn't exist. But then the other 3 we got wrong.
She's like that's when like all of their defensive starters were
Oh
gone.
yeah, yeah.
They were
So
like all down by then, and they lost like 7 more.
yeah, so we did decent. I mean, like this is the actual schedule. We got 11 of the games right out of the 17, which is not bad. That's pretty good. Best out of these, I believe. Packers might have been close.
Over 500.
Yeah, exactly. That's what matters at the end of the day. Rookies, Terry
Arnold was okay. I mean,
he was a penalty machine.
Yeah, but other than that, he was pretty good. And it's Rakestraw Jr. I never even seen on the field, so gotta give him a D plus.
Yeah.
Giovanni Manu was an offensive lineman. I don't even know if he played. Sion Vaki, bro, I don't even know if I saw him on the roster.
Yeah. So yeah,
Nicky Rigo, once again, I don't know. These guys,
there's a lot of random rookies we found out doing these 4 teams that we just never heard of. Like Christian Mahogany.
Bro, I think he was on a.
I don't know. Terry Arnold, he was good though. He was pretty decent. He looks like he has upside, very high upside, if he can figure out how to stop touching people. Then what looks good? Running back core. I don't think you can argue that this isn't the best in the league. I think that's a fair thing to say. Yeah. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery are. I'd say Gibbs is top 5. Montgomery's top 7. And
two top 10 running backs.
yeah, that's probably and it's just insane. So that's a good look, and they're staying. And Montgomery's older, but Gibbs is very young, so he'll carry. Yeah, I mean, like he's on the older end for running backs.
This is like his 6th year in the league.
That's not that bad. But then Lions first seed in history.
In Lions history.
In Lions history, yeah. In NFL history, the first ever first seed. But me and Mason were talking, and I was suggesting they have momentum going into the season from that. They don't.
Yeah, they got smoked in the playoff game.
They proceeded to lose all their coaches like right after.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second here. But,
yeah, and then I'll let you get this last one.
Defensive and offensive talent. I mean, they have it all there. But like you said, just injuries like killed them. So
yeah,
they'll be better. They'll be better next year.
If their coaches are fine.
We'll see how it works out. I think that they'll still be good. I just don't know if they'll be.
Yeah, they still got they still got an elite roster. It's just their coaching is the issue. But like if you look at it on their defense, if all of their starters were not injured, pretty much they had like what I think going into the playoffs like over.
I think one of their only defensive starters from the beginning of the season was Alex Anzalone.
Yeah, and he's good. And then Hutchinson was out, obviously, which that's a huge hit.
Yeah, he was gonna have a freaking
monster season. Yeah, 5 sacks by game 3.
Like something ridiculous.
I think, and Jack Campbell was out for a bit.
Yeah, there was a lot of.
It's just too many good players were injured, which obviously hit them in the playoffs when they actually needed them. But then the things that went wrong, injuries. We obviously said that, and I'll let Mason kind of go over the coordinators and other coaching issues.
I mean, coordinators got hired for head coaching positions. Aaron Glenn to the Jets, Ben Johnson to the Bears. Lions fans can say what they want about these coordinators. I think that they did a pretty gosh darn good job with what they had.
2 years in a row.
Yeah, I mean, you guys had the best offensive season in the history of your franchise, and you want to go out here and just insult your
you had
a head coaching job. All you had to do was just be like, "Hey, congrats, man."
You had 17 fun games to watch all season. I wouldn't be complaining.
Yeah, exactly. I had freaking 4, so
I had none. As a Seahawks fan, even the wins.
Anyways, but your coordinators got hired, so you have to make the right decision in hiring new guys, which you guys have already hired new guys for your
mostly in-house too, right?
Yeah, I
think that's a good move, honestly, for the way their system is.
I don't know how good these guys are, and we'll guess we'll see. But I mean, I feel like they were able to learn from the previous guys. I mean, Ben Johnson's a great example of how to build an offense, and Aaron Glenn has got some fight to him, and he got that very, very injured defense to play for him in a way that was
Yeah, a lot of
honestly,
backups just working well.
I'm like obviously not in the playoff game, but like against the Vikings, the last game of the season, they were incredible.
Yeah,
So,
it was also Sam Darnold, which we'll talk about him in a bit.
yeah. And then, yeah, I'll let you handle Jared Goff.
All
here,
right, Jared Goff, in my opinion, is either the best fourth quarter quarterback in the league or the absolute worst fourth quarter quarterback in the league. Or in games that matter, he sucks. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Jared Goff is so hit or miss in clutch moments. He's either, yeah, like I said, he's either one of the best or one of the worst when it matters. And he choked this year when it did matter. In the playoffs, he just fell off. He did horrible in that game against the Commanders.
I mean, it was just bad. Like, and that's another thing that I can't get over. So you're telling me Ben Johnson was the guy out on the field that fumbled the ball in the red zone and
Yeah. What, 3? 2 or 3?
like, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, you tell me who did that.
Yeah, and he was having, I would say, an MVP season, all season, and for that to be attributed to his head coach or his offensive coordinator sucking, I don't know what you're on.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, we'll move on to the Packers because this video is already 20 minutes long, and I'm going to try to keep it to about 10 per team. Packers, Green Bay. We predict them to go 12-5, and they went 11-6. We did pretty good. We did pretty good. Except the issue with this is that we did not predict many of the games very correct.
Yeah. We had them losing to the Eagles, which is right.
Yeah. That one, actually, that one we took a lot of debating. I remember that one.
The Vikings twice.
Yeah.
That's right.
And they lost.
Did the Texans beat them?
They lost to the Texans. No, they beat the Texans. So, I mean, I'll just show this. We went 10 for 17, so we actually did do decent. Only real ones we got wrong were the Bears game in week 11.
18.
We had week 11, both the Bears games, actually. They just flipped. We knew we had them winning one.
We had them splitting.
And then
the Bears, they should have swept, but whatever.
yeah, they beat the Seahawks, sadly. We had them losing. They lost to the Lions both times. And then the Vikings both times. But other than that, we did pretty good. I mean, in all fairness, though, most of the teams kind of sucked, other than
Pretty good.
the teams that we got wrong.
Well, that's the reason I think that we got it,
Yeah.
because we had them losing to the Vikings. We didn't even have them losing to the Vikings.
No. Oh yeah. You'll see what we thought about the Vikings in a second.
Yeah.
Moving on, rookie grades. They had a stupid amount of rookies.
Yeah, this is just ridiculous. But here, we'll just go through it. Jordan Morgan, he was on IR, so he didn't really get a good look. Edgerrin Cooper actually played most of the season, and he had a pretty good season. So I gave him a B. Javon Bullard had a pretty good season too. I mean, he played. I think he was a starter. No, maybe, but I think he was second round, third round. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot
But
of picks.
pretty good production out of a guy for where he's drafted. Marshawn Lloyd was on IR. Iron Hopper. I think there's a reason why I gave him a D. You probably don't even know who he is.
Yeah. If you're
Evan Williams. I think he actually played most of the season. I think he was a starter for most of the season. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Yeah, but that's why I gave him B-. But anyways, and then those other guys, they didn't even play. So
yeah, it's a lot of random names on here with these rookie ones. I can't wait to get to like the teams that have like just the god class for rookie draft picks, and I'm excited to see some of those when we get to them. What looks good though? Young roster. You could have said the same thing last year, and I think it still stands this year. The roster is unproven, but not proven, or like not I don't know what I'm trying to say. They have a lot of potential. They're all young. They all look decent.
yeah,
At least.
And you can argue part of that is Xavier McKinney.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got him from the Giants and the
Giants just gave away at their good people.
they are struggling.
I mean, Xavier McKinney though, he had himself a season.
Yeah, it was incredible. I think his first 5 games he had an interception in each, and That's something that like what wasn't done all like in NFL history, whatever.
I don't know, but he was doing something right.
It was something historical. I don't know, but
Yeah.
and then you got the trenches. They were good in both. I would say that they were good more in the offensive trenches than they were in the defensive trenches.
But their defensive ones were still looking decent.
Defensive line was it was like iffy.
Offensively,
But offensively they looked pretty gosh darn.
I do think though they had injuries a decent bit too,
Yeah,
if I'm remembering it right.
I mean, Jordan Morgan, their first round pick, was on IR. So
Yeah. And then what needs to be fixed? Inconsistent quarterback play. Jordan Love, if Toyotathon is not happening, he is pretty mediocre to bad. During Toyotathon, he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So which is weird, but I mean that's honestly a true statistical fact. So I feel like I have to say it. But yeah, he's hit or miss.
I think you could argue that this next reason is why is a reason for that. I mean, their wide receiver core is very questionable. I don't look at any of their guys and them. I can't be like, yeah, this guy is their number one.
Yeah, it's a bunch of twos.
He will go off one game. Christian Watson will go off the other game. Romeo Dobbs is like here and there. Like
Then Dontavian Wicks.
There's not an elite guy.
Yeah,
So it's like if you just don't get consistent play out of them either, and then just that it makes that entire offense a mess. But they have Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs is their consistency for that team. So. And lastly, they lost to the Bears at Lambeau Field. Caleb Williams is the owner of Lambeau.
Oh yeah, he is.
At Lambeau, 100% win rate. That's all we need.
100% win rate.
Yep. So watch out. Watch out. It's only the beginning.
Only the beginning.
It's only the beginning.
Then, yeah, I mean, Packers, said the same thing last year. They have plenty of upside. I don't think there's any.
Yeah.
The line.
Nothing to be worried about yet.
Honestly, with none of these
Jordan
teams.
If Jordan Love doesn't work out, then he has you're paying him big bucks. But
yeah, they paid a lot. But I think all four of these teams have good potential in the future. None of them are in like a weird stalling or going down phase right now, I would say. Lions maybe are reaching a peak, but if their coaches turn out well, I think they'll be fine. Maybe Jared Goff replacement.
I think the Vikings could be running off a one-year wonder type deal, but
yeah, it all comes down to the quarterback play for this team right here.
Yeah.
But let's get into our predictions because these are, I would say, comical.
You be ready.
We predicted to go 2-15.
14-3. Now we have reason behind our 2-15 prediction. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So before the season started, we had JJ McCarthy go down to IR, and we were like, "Oh, crap! Who's going to be their starting QB?"
Yeah.
And then the Vikings came out and they were like, "Damn, Darnold will be our starting QB."
We're like, "Oh, great!"
We were like, "Holy crap!" Now, for context, the only film we had on Sam Darnold was a loss in San Francisco, a loss in Carolina, or a few losses in Carolina, I think.
Probably.
And an awful career in the Jets. So we were just like, this guy is the biggest joke in the NFL.
Yeah, they're just hiring someone to be a quarterback.
His shoes, and he came out and looked like one of the best QBs in the NFL.
Until week 18.
Until like week 17. Week 17 looked iffy.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But he like ran out of magic. I mean,
He did. It was rough.
yeah. I mean, like we can go into it. We expected them to get swept by the division. I think. Yep.
We expected him to get swept by the league.
Yeah. Like it was just bad, and you know, it is what it is. I mean, there's not much we can say about it. I mean, you can't look at me in the eyes and tell me that you expected the Vikings to come second in the North and be a 14-win team before the season started.
And I want to add this too. We work with a hardcore Vikings fan, and even he was agreeing that like this is not going to be a good season.
Yeah.
And sadly, he was wrong.
Sadly, yeah.
Yeah. So as you can see, it's literally just flip-flopped. Right. We got the 3 games that they lost right because they didn't win any others. They didn't lose any others, and we had them winning essentially none. Obviously, we got the 2 that we had them winning right. So we got 5 right.
Hey.
Hey, don't do it like us. We're so good at predictions, as you've been able to tell.
What? Just like again, that was the average prediction, right? Like
Yeah,
these guys are
we.
supposed to be the worst team in the league.
I do want to
Like,
add, we did go a little bit extreme with it, but at the same time, we did sit there and like talk about all these, deliberate a little bit, and we came to the conclusion that like when we were going through, like, I don't know, I think they're gonna lose here.
yeah.
We didn't give any of them toss-ups in their favor, pretty much. But yeah, so looking at their rookies, they hit a few. JJ McCarthy, their first round, what, 9th overall pick, 10th overall pick.
So JJ McCarthy, obviously we don't have any film on him, so we had to just say like question mark IR, right?
Yeah. So
And then 7 picks later, they drafted Dallas Turner, and honestly, didn't play much. I was surprised to look at that and be like, oh right. I literally just by looking at this, I remembered that the Vikings drafted Dallas Turner in the first place.
yeah, but
And he didn't start a single game. Like, first round, 17th pick, you should be a day one starter.
and you'd think too, like they got rid of Daniil Hunter. They kind of, I mean, that's like their big number one. Well, he's an edge rusher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got rid of him. So you're like, okay, they're filling his shoes with this guy. Nope. I mean, even then, the Vikings defense was very good. So we're not gonna discredit their defense at all. But still, first round pick, no starts is kind of crazy. Kyrie Jackson,
R.I.P. man.
no,
I mean,
no film on him, sadly.
obviously before the season started, he passed in an accident where he got hit by a drunk driver.
Jordan Addison a week later got a DUI.
Yeah, literally a week later got a DUI. That's when I lost all respect for Jordan Addison. I mean,
Yep.
I feel like he's your teammate. He was 22 years old, and he dies because of a drunk driver, and then you do the same thing a week later. Like, it's just ridiculous. It makes no sense. There's zero morals behind that. I don't know how you find yourself doing that, but whatever. Anyways, R.I.P. Kyrie Jackson. Walter Rouse, I'm pretty sure did not play. I'm pretty sure he didn't play all season. Will Reichard ended up being one of the best kickers in the league as a rookie.
Very
I
good.
had an A. And then Michael Jorgens and Levi Drake Rodriguez, I don't believe played either. So it's a pretty short list there of impactful players.
And then looking at what looks good, their coaching, phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, we got 2 of them right there. The defensive coordinator, Brian Flores, was phenomenal. I mean,
I'm surprised he didn't get hired out as a head coach.
I think that he's got some ghosts in his past that are keeping him from. First of all, he's suing Roger Goodell as we speak. Not only that, but Tua Tagovailoa has come out and been like, yeah, I hated this guy, so. This guy was a D-head to me, is basically what it's been like. Yeah, so.
He put up good defense, though, so that's all that really matters.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could argue that the Vikings have a mediocre defensive
Group.
yeah, defensive roster. I mean, their secondary is awful, but they make up for it with their blitz rate. It's incredible what he's done over there in Minnesota. So
Yeah, and then obviously Kevin O'Connell. He's been doing it for years now. He's just phenomenal coach. I don't think anything else needs to be said. And Will Reichard, good kicker. We could have said their defense, but we covered that with Brian Flores. I mean, I want to say their receiving core, but like, I don't know what their quarterback's going to be. So like, you can't.
now we got to cover some things.
Yeah. What?
Their wide receiver core has looked good for years. So we had to like.
Yeah. And it's like, if they have a bad quarterback, Justin Jefferson is not going to be as good. I mean, he's still going to be phenomenal. Like, don't get me wrong, but.
Well, that's what we thought, and then Sam Darnold came out here and did his thing. So
That's true.
that's something. That's why we got Kevin O'Connell. I mean,
Yeah, because he's the quarterback whisperer. He's just
now we put Coach of the Year. He's not going to be Coach of the Year. Dan Quinn's gonna be Coach of the Year, but I do think that if Dan Quinn doesn't take Jaden Daniels to the NFC Championship,
yeah. But then
Kevin O'Connell's got it. Yeah. So it is what it is. I mean, he probably deserved it. He's not gonna get it, but hey, he did a pretty gosh darn good job. And
Yeah, he did.
I'll say.
Then now what looks bad with this team? Inconsistent quarterback when it mattered. I probably typed that one out. Yeah, I mean in the playoffs, Sam Darnold was horrible if I'm remembering correctly, right? They got blown out by who's?
It's awful. I mean,
Texans.
Rams. Texans, dog.
Yeah, I know. I said that and it didn't sound right. My bad. Yeah, the Rams. I mean, week 18, Sam Darnold played so bad. And even then, throughout the year, I mean, he showed flashes of like this guy's gonna win the MVP. Like he had like 6 touchdowns, 2.6 million yards.
There is legitimate questions on whether he will return to the Vikings this year. So I guess we'll see. I don't know if he gets let go. Do you think somebody picks him up? Puts him in as a starter. I don't know.
And I say it's weird right now because the quarterback market is so absurdly talented.
Yeah.
There's like 3 teams that need a quarterback.
Yeah.
So it's like, are they gonna?
Oh, there's more than that.
Well, what? Rams, Titans.
No, Rams.
Not Rams. Raiders, Titans, Jets, Giants.
Giants. You could argue the Saints need one because Derek Carr is not good.
Yeah, he's falling off. Saints. That's about it. I mean, I can think of.
Your Seahawks are
Seahawks are gonna need a good quarterback. I don't know. It's so bad. I hate it right now. We'll get onto that though whenever we get to the NFC West. But yeah,
like I talked about that earlier. It's like their secondary is not very good
talent-wise, but they get it done with how they're coached.
Yeah, exactly. And then their running back core is a lot of question marks. I mean,
It's old.
Cam Akers is he's on the roster. He's our RB2. But assuming that the Vikings don't sign Aaron Jones back, then Cam Akers is the number 1, and then they got a big problem because I feel like Cam Akers.
They got like a running back 2.
He benefited from being a running back 2. He will not benefit from being a running back 1. He hasn't anywhere he's been, so there's just a lot of question marks there. But anyways,
I think that's the end. Yeah,
that is the end.
it is.
And,
37 minutes. We got a longer one for y'all.
Yeah, I mean, if you enjoyed this video, like it, comment, subscribe. There's at least 7 more coming. So, let's put that work in, get it done, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah. Wait, you didn't even tell them what to do.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this guy.
What am I doing?
Get a load of this guy.
Like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm.
Oh
right?
yeah, for the algorithm.
That's what you got to do. I mean, I need it. Brody needs it.
Hey, I do want to add too. We're as of recording this at 299 subscribers.
Oh, wow.
So we're about to hit the big 300. So if you subscribe off this video, as number 300,
Please.
thank you. But
If you hit 300 subscriber, I'll give you a kiss.
we will. We'll fly you out on camera. But yeah, we're about to hit 300 subscribers.
If you guys see a video come up and it's like, we kissed our 300 subscribers.
AI. It's AI. It's not real.
Yeah, it's not real. Somebody made that of us.
Yeah, it's crazy. The world we live in. But yeah, we're about to hit 300 subs. Get us there. Like, comment, all that. It helps us out a ton.
Do it.
And
these are always fun to make. So.
they are. And we're going to keep making them too. Even if we're putting up 20 views a video, we're still putting out weekly videos. Multiple. We're going to try to.
Yep.
And just wait till soon. Soon next week. What? Next week we're going to put out a video on someone, right? Some player. Don't know who yet, but we'll pick someone.
About it, but it should be within the next few days. We come out with NFC East, I believe.
Yeah, we'll put that out on like Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yep. Just stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. Later.
Bye.